That's right. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build studio in New York City. Our next guests together make up the critically acclaimed Brooklyn-based duo Overcoats, with perhaps, maybe an announcement regarding their highly anticipated second full-length album and a couple of shows at Webster Hall. It's a big week for them, and I'm super excited they're here with us. Please make a crazy amount of noise and welcome Overcoats. Do it up. Let's go. Come on. There you go. Hannah, JJ, thank you so much for being here. Congrats on all the new music and everything going on right now. How are you guys doing? How's life?
We are good. We are in the midst of a 6-week tour, and these are our 3 days off in New York. So.
Oh my God, and they put you to work?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
We're happy to be here.
Well, I'm really excited to have you here as well. I was going to ask how the tour is going. You guys are Cold War kids. You're playing, I think, tomorrow night and the night after at Webster Hall. Very exciting. How's it been so far?
It's been so much fun, like one of our favorite tours of all time. They are really, really fun people. We've been hanging out a lot. We tend to run on stage during their performance.
I saw a
it's
clip
a good
of that.
time all
We
around.
introduced them to TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if they've made their own page yet, but
depending
they're
on how that plays out, that's your fault, basically. We'll see how that goes. But that's been pretty exciting, I imagine. I saw the video that you guys are out on stage, kind of just like beating up the drums and having a good time. Did they invite you out there, or were you just like, the vibe seems right, I'm going to read the room and go out and be a part of the set right now?
The first time it happened, we were taking shots and we got pushed out, and it was really fun. And then the times that we've done it after, we've been kind of pushed out by their tour manager, because obviously none of the band can, say come on up, because they're playing their instruments. They don't have free hands. So yeah, we've just kind of taken it upon ourselves.
We've taken it upon ourselves at this point.
And you're still a part of the tour, so I think it's okay.
I think it's okay. We keep asking their tour manager if we're fired yet, but he says no. But no, in all seriousness, we do sing one song as well with them. So it's been a really cool experience.
Sounds like it. I'm excited to talk to you guys. The 3-track EP is out now. It's amazing, and it kind of gives us a taste of what to expect for when the full record comes. I know we're not going to talk about. You can't tell me anything yet, specific, concrete. But is it done? Is the full record completed? Can you tell me that? It's
done, and I can also say that if we were having this interview tomorrow night, I would be able to say more.
Man, that is, we missed it by 1 day. We're so close.
Yeah, whose fault is that? Who scheduled this?
So tomorrow night, you guys are perhaps, maybe, I don't know, hinting at that there's a chance that there'll be some information.
There's more information coming very
soon. Are you guys... Are you excited? Are you nervous? How do you feel?
We're very excited. As you said, the EP kind of signals what's coming. It's a much grittier sound, a bit more anger, a bit more angst. But also at the core is our harmonies and the vocals, and that's basically what we're all about, and still is.
What do you guys remember the first time that you heard your voices together and you realized how much you complement one another and how it's kind of meant to be? What was that like in the room? Did you have to hear a recording of it? Did you hear it in the moment? When did you realize that this was perfect?
We heard it in the moment, and it was actually like our
Was it in a bathroom?
Mm-hmm, sure was. It was our first day of freshman year. And we were singing a song together that we both loved, which is Amy Winehouse, You Know I'm No Good. And it was like a eureka moment. I mean, we didn't end up becoming a band or writing songs or doing anything like that for many years after this moment, but it definitely was a special moment where we were like, wow, something about this feels really happy and like whole and good.
Yeah, there was definitely a magic to it that at the beginning we didn't really know what to do with, and so we sang covers. We sang Amy Winehouse. We sang Dixie Chicks.
Always in the bathroom because they have the best acoustics in bathrooms.
Don't worry, we don't have.
Now we perform at venues.
Yeah, you were just constantly in the bathroom.
We were just always in the bathroom, so we had to sing there.
You had to do to pass the time because you were in the bathroom all the time. No, you mentioned that that time had sort of passed and transpired between that magic moment and when you finally became a band and became Overcoats. What was it about that time? Why, if you could identify in that moment that this sounds so great and you guys were having so much fun, what kept you from starting the band right away?
I think neither of us had ever really done it before. Hannah was in a band in high school. But my first experience of playing music with other people was in college. and I met Hannah on day one. So I think we kind of needed 4 years of figuring out what it is to play music with other people, what works, what doesn't, and also just to kind of evolve as human women,
Yeah.
as humans.
Neither of us like knew that we wanted to do it professionally. It was sort
Still
of
don't.
something that, yeah, like
Going for the ride, right?
taking it day by day. It was something that really just developed out of the friendship we had built for 4 years, and writing songs just became an extension of that, and we kind of fell into it.
And it also takes some kind of closeness and vulnerability to write lyrics with someone else, because you sort of spew these things that should be written in a diary entry, and you're like, so have you had this horrible experience too? And it's weird to say that to someone on your first day of school, and so it did require kind of building our friendship around that.
I want to get into the writing process for you guys in a second, but first, do you remember the name of the high school band?
The Whims.
The Whims. That's not bad. There are a lot of. It's always a crapshoot. That's either like a really good name, or sometimes I have really clever names.
Yeah, we went through a lot of names, and somehow that's the best one that we got
I remember my high school band. One of our genius ideas was free beer, because we figured, well, if we play someplace
That's really good.
and they put it on the sign, people will just show up.
That's smart.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Okay.
Still a high school band. Still wasn't that great. Talk to me about the writing process for you two, because you're right, it's deeply personal. You have to be very vulnerable. You have to open up. Where does it start for you guys? Do you always write together? I think I read that you guys write in demo and garage bands. I know that's part of the process, but where does it like begin? Where's the seed start?
You know our answer?
Go ahead.
We write in a number of different ways. Sometimes we'll sit down and write a song from start to finish. Other times we'll send each other snippets back and forth.
I feel like you just walked off an elevator in The Shining or something.
Yeah, sorry, was that scary?
First of all, impressive. Second of all,
Thank you.
I apologize for asking a question you clearly have never heard before. That's fair enough. But let's go even further, though. Are you phone memo people? Do you like make little voice memos and carry them around and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're those weirdos in the subway who are like la 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 la, and like with no headphones on. It's a lot.
A difference too with this new EP and also the music coming is that we decided to open ourselves up to more collaboration, and so that looked a little bit different, but not even really. It would basically be like a man at a computer and then us like in the back kind of whispering to each other about what he was doing.
Was that a difficult or challenging part to kind of adjust to sort of release like this kind of your baby to this other person that you haven't worked with before and be like, what do you think this should sound like?
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were a very extreme case of helicopter mom about our first record, and we didn't want anyone to touch it, and I think most people are that way about their about their debut release, because it's the first time you're expressing yourselves, and you want it to be wholly you. And for this record, we wanted more guitars, we wanted live drum kit, and so we had to invite other people to be a part of it because we don't play drums and yet. And we also had access to a slew of amazing producers who had heard our first project and were open to working with us, and so that was a privilege.
You guys recently released, both as a track and on YouTube, the full Undone, which I thought was super cool and kind of a window into that process that people can see sort of like the beginnings of a song. Do all of your songs start in that way, on guitar or in GarageBand or just bare bones instruments like that, kind of acoustic instruments?
I'd say like maybe 70% of them do. Other times they'll start from like a beat or something like that. And a lot of the times, too, they'll start from words. Like, we do voice memos, definitely, but we're also both really big on the Notes app, and we'll just, like, write a line, and sometimes it'll start from that. But
yeah, is this an ad for iPhone right now?
I know.
And they have Notes.
Sponsor
To
me.
be fair, voice memo and Notes, while they are the titles of those apps, it could have been generic.
It's
could
true.
have
It's
Notes
true.
in any app or phone,
Yeah.
for that matter.
But yeah, I would say a lot of it starts on guitar, and You know, obviously we kind of get to the harmonies and the vocals first thing. So doing it on guitar is often an easy way to kind of work together in like an intimate setting.
Well, I bring it up because one of the things that I'm really you listen to Undone and you listen to like the studio, like the release of the Fool, and there's a big jump in between those two tracks of like deciding when does this piece that I wrote as guitar become synth, and when do I add this extra texture and stuff like that. And I'm wondering, how do you make those decisions, and how long does that process take?
It takes literally forever because especially in electronic music, you have infinite options of what something can sound like. So it just is really, really difficult. And I think that's where the mastery comes in of some of these producers and, you know, having the experience going through making multiple records as you start to be able to come to those decisions a little quicker and recognize your own like aesthetic choices. But it's really hard. I mean, songs will go through iterations where they're a ballad and then they're a banger and then they're back to a ballad. And it's one of the toughest parts about making music for sure.
One of the things I always ask in this conversation is, how do you know when you're done? Especially when you guys are so DIY focused and have done so much of it yourself for so long. It's really hard to know when to walk away. Do you help each other with that? Do you?
Definitely. I think that was going to be part of my answer to your question, is that I can't even imagine how one person would decide that something is done for themselves. At least with two of us, we're like, do you think it's done? And then she's like, well, maybe. I think it's done.
Usually it's
bounce off each other.
We make something, then we take out like 70% of what we've put in, and then it's done.
Just kind of peeling away and eliminating the layers until it's there. Have you ever done anything in the studio or found a song in the studio and then gone, oh crap, we got to figure out how to do this live? Like, if you ever put something down that you could do, that was super easy to do in that moment, but then you're like, oh man, how do we do this night after night? How do we reproduce this sound? How do we make this happen?
I would say a lot of the songs are like that because when we're writing, we think that we are like Mariah Carey and we write these really crazy high parts. And then we're like, oh my God, we have to do this in public. Right, the
Somebody
first time.
has to sing this and not sound like a dying cat.
Yeah, so a lot of times it does happen that way, especially when you're writing in the studio. But sometimes we'll write songs out of something that is happening live or a little jam, and it's easier that way.
We can't talk about the music that's out there without talking about the video that you guys put out for The Fool, which is so awesome. And the other thing, you produced that yourselves, right?
The video?
Yeah, the video.
We did that with the help of our tireless managers.
Very cool.
The Overcoats team.
Yes, Overcoats. Yes,
Team
exactly. But we had a wonderful director for that who helped with a lot of the creative decisions for this project. And we just put it together. Everybody worked really hard. We shaved each other's heads.
Right. I was going to say, for those at home, if you haven't seen the video, you have to check it out. It's amazing. And it is like a really bold move to shave each other's heads on camera and to commit to that. I'm curious the decisions that led to that, the conversations that led up to that, and what the significance was for you guys doing that.
So it started as a joke because we were trying to figure out what to do for the music video. And we were in the studio, and I was like, JJ, like, why don't we just, like, cut off all our hair? And our producers, like, slammed their phones on the ground, and they were like, we were just talking about this. And we were like, that's hilarious, like,
because we were joking, and then they weren't.
Yeah. And then it was kind of a joke for a while, and then it sort of just turned into the plan. And we always say, like, the moment that we really decided to do it was crazier than doing it. Because just to really like commit to something that wild was
to set the date. For the shoot.
To set the date.
Well, everyone's been hired, so I guess we have to do this now.
Now it's real.
But I think the reason that it went from a joke to something real is that it made a lot of sense for the song. I mean, the song is about uncertainty and trying to forge your own path and take control of your destiny, and that was something that would really make us feel like we were taking control and also binding ourselves together in this era of like a lot of struggle and political turmoil in America. And it just sort of felt like the right thing to do.
It seems like that influenced a lot of the writing on the record that we may or may not hear about more tomorrow. And I'm curious when it comes time to like name a record or establish what the theme or the story is that something you guys talk about early on and then write towards, or do you just kind of put a lot out there, get all the music out, and then figure out what it is you've been thinking for the last couple of months?
That's a good question. I can't really say that we do things in a certain way every time because this is only our second release, but definitely I feel that the concept and the title sort of presents itself to us, and it's less us deciding, okay, I think we should write an album about blah blah blah, and more, what's the theme of these songs that have all sort of spewed out of us, and is there a message there that we want to point out to people?
The title of the upcoming release started out as a song, and when we made that song, we knew pretty immediately that it was going to be the title of the record. Yeah.
Did you guys know right away what three were going to comprise the EP?
We didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
And that's the beauty of having a team around you to bounce ideas off. I think that we wanted to showcase kind of the new sound and the breadth of the new sound, and also give people some bangers to dance to. So it was a bit of both of those.
We're going to head over, take some audience questions real quick before we get to the performance. But I want to remind everybody, you're at Webster Hall tomorrow night and on Wednesday. And then where are you guys after that?
We go to D.C. and then down south.
Very, very awesome. DC, then down south. Where should they keep their eyes peeled tomorrow for that potential maybe happening announcement? Where can they find out? Best resource?
Probably our Instagram.
Yeah.
This is
Instagram.
Overcoats.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything. Anything else we want to plug before we go to the audience?
Follow us on TikTok.
There we go. Follow you on TikTok, of course. Awesome. We got at least two in the room. We're going to get to both of them. I see a microphone, so I'm going to call on you first. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing fine. Great seeing you here. And as a fan of yours and your music it is 5 years already. In my case, I know you that long, musically. And so my question is, your new EP and the video and all the new sound, it's amazing. And it has evolved. So my question is, when you started out, did you think you would land there, or where you just landed? There is more in the future, of course, but how do you feel about your sound now, and have you always envisioned it like that?
That's a great question. Nice to see you. I think that there's no way I imagined that I'd even be on a stage speaking to any of you about music that we've made. So in that sense, no. But I also had this feeling the other day that when we're on stage playing these new songs, that it feels exactly right. And the people that we are on stage now feels really honest to who I am and hopefully who Hana is right now. And the things that we're singing about now are things that are important. And so I think that as long as we're following our hearts, that we'll feel where we are supposed to feel, or be where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's no way we could have known what things would sound like, and I think we only look as far into the future as the record that we're working on. So we like to say that the songs kind of tell us what they need. So our first record, was softer and more electronic. This record was angrier, and so it needed to sound angrier. I have no idea what our third, well, I sort of do. But, I don't know what other albums will
Announce
sound
our
like.
third album right now.
We're going to announce the third one. The second one may be tomorrow, but tonight we're announcing the third one.
Yeah, I don't know what those will sound like. I don't think by any means we're getting closer to some sound that is Overcoats, because I think it's exactly as JJ said, it's whatever is most authentic in that moment. And I think that our music right now is wholly authentic to who we are in this moment.
It's a great question. Thank you for that. We're going to do one more. It's right over here. How you doing?
Hey, good. I was just wondering where you got the inspiration for your new album, if you can talk about it.
Yes. Sonically speaking, we were very inspired by bands like Radiohead and Nirvana.
LCD Sound System.
Yes, I'm sorry we're naming all male groups right now.
Yeah.
But a lot more rock music than our first record, which was inspired by more electronic sounds. But yeah, the Violent Femmes, God, all men. I'm so sorry.
That's who's in the rock canon.
Yeah,
That's why we're out here.
That's what. Yeah.
Trying to change it.
Yes, exactly. Who else? Sonically, we listened to a lot of.
I'm only thinking of men.
It's okay.
Kings of Leon.
Oh God.
Coldplay.
Yeah, so sonically, a lot of that. I think that conceptually and lyrically, we were inspired by what was happening around us and what is still happening.
And it was an interesting juxtaposition, too, because we were listening to all of this male-dominated rock and going through the world as women, and we were like, well, nobody's ever made, like, a rock album. Well, they have, but like nobody's ever made a rock album, but they're talking about kind of feminist issues. So part of it too
People
for
have,
us,
but
they have, they very much have. But part of it for us and what we were trying to explore was getting into this rock music and grittier stuff and bringing a more female and more obviously authentic to us element into it, and that created a really exciting juxtaposition for us. So I think that was definitely part of the inspiration.
Another great question. Thank you so much. Well, it is your day off, so I'm not going to keep you that long. And I do want to get to the performance. For those watching at home, don't go anywhere because we're going to go away for a second, reset the stage, and then when we come back, they're going to play live. But thanks, everyone, for your awesome questions. Check out, they're going to be in D.C. Did I get that right? And
Yeah, DC next.
Next week. And then if you're in the city right now, they're going to be at Webster Hall tomorrow night, the night after that.
And a headline tour coming very soon as well.
You're going to announce that tomorrow as well?
Hannah's just really blown it here. And our third album.
Keep an eye out for the fourth release. Follow them on TikTok, listen to them on Spotify and everywhere music's available, and watch their videos on YouTube. And don't go anywhere because they're going to play live right here in a second. Overcoats, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.